What if everything we thought we knew about Ted Bundy was wrong? What if his reign of terror didn't begin in 1974, but years earlier, and his victims weren't just college women, but included children? And what if the man who smiled on camera and flirted in court was hiding a body count that could be triple what he confessed to? This is a chilling truth the FBI never told us, until now. The stranger beside everyone. Ted Bundy wasn't a monster in the shadows. He was a clean-cut law student. He volunteered at a suicide prevention hotline. He shook hands with politicians. And he used all of that, every smile, every wink, every polite yes, ma'am, to hunt and kill. When he finally confessed in 1989, hours before his execution, he said the number was 30. But in recent years, cold case units and forensic investigators uncovered something chilling. Ted Bundy may have killed over 100 people, and he may have started as young as 14. The cold case that changes everything. Let's go back. Tacoma, Washington. Summer of 1961. 8-year-old Marie Burt disappears from her bedroom in the middle of the night. No signs of forced entry. No noise. No suspects. The Burr family lived just 4 blocks from a shy, awkward teen named Ted Bundy. He was just 14 years old. For decades, police suspected it, but couldn't prove it. Ted denied it until his death. But now, retired detectives and new evidence suggest Bundy's official timeline may be a lie. He didn't begin killing in his 20s. He learned how to kill without leaving a trace, before he even had a driver's license. The DNA they couldn't ignore. In the 2000s, investigators reopened Bundy-related cold cases with one powerful new weapon, DNA forensics. A hair sample from the Karen Campbell murder in Colorado matched Bundy in 2011. Then came whispers. Could Bundy be tied to murders in California, in Oregon, in New Jersey? Yes, because Bundy drove across the country often. He left behind victims no one ever connected. Until now. One Utah detective said, "We stopped counting after 50. He studied law, so he could beat it." Ted Bundy didn't just study law. He used it. In court, he fired his defense attorneys and represented himself. All so he could access police files, handle crime scene photos, cross-examine surviving witnesses, touch evidence from the very murders he committed, and if that's not cold enough, in the middle of testimony, he proposed his girlfriend, Carolyn Boone, live in court. And here's the sick twist. Under Florida law, the proposal in a courtroom was legally binding. They were married while he was on trial for murder. She later gave birth to his child while he was on death row. The suicide hotline detail, no one believed. Here's something most people don't know. In 1971, Ted Bundy worked at a suicide prevention hotline in Seattle. He answered calls from people wanting to die, talked them down, comforted them. And at night, he stalked women, watched them from bushes, broke into their homes. His co-worker at the time, Ann Rule, former police officer and crime writer. She wrote The Stranger Beside Me, one of the most famous true crime books ever. She sat beside him for months, shared coffee, shared jokes. She said he once saved a woman's life over the phone, while having already taken others in real life. How many victims? He said, add a digit. In one of his final interviews with FBI agents, Bundy was asked, "How many did you kill, Ted?" His answer? You figure out. Add a digit to the number I gave you. He had publicly confessed to 30. But add a digit could mean 300. Is it possible? FBI profiler Robert Ressler said yes. After his death, FBI analysts began cross-referencing missing persons cases in Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Florida with Bundy's travel records, vehicle rentals, gas station receipts, credit card logs, and unsolved murder MOs. The result? A map that spanned coast to coast, dotted with victims no one could definitively link to any other killer. The confession game he played until death. Bundy refused to give full closure. He confessed only what he wanted, when he wanted, to buy time. Every time an execution date came up, he remembered a few more victims. He knew the FBI wanted answers. He knew victim families were begging. And he enjoyed it. Even in death, Ted Bundy maintained control. And here's what's even darker. Despite the books, movies, documentaries, even Netflix hits, there are still victims out there buried in places only Ted Bundy knew about. No names, no bodies, no closure. The FBI still receives tips every year about women who vanished in the 70s and 80s, matching his pattern, matching his location. They believe Ted Bundy didn't just kill 30 or even 50. They believe he could be one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. And the world still doesn't know all his victims. But what if I told you Ted Bundy wasn't alone? What if evidence now suggests he may have had a silent accomplice in at least one state? Someone who helped clean crime scenes, destroy evidence, maybe even lured victims? What if someone close, helped him clean up blood, hide bodies, even lie to police? Recent details suggest that there was another person behind the curtain. And the most chilling part? The FBI may have known and looked the other way. This isn't a theory born from fiction. It's rooted in real testimonies, documented inconsistencies, and evidence the public wasn't shown for decades. The woman who knew too much, Carolyn Boone. Let's start with the most obvious suspect. Carolyn Boone, Ted Bundy's longtime girlfriend and eventually his legal wife. They met at the Washington State Department of Emergency Services, where they both worked. While Ted was pretending to be a concerned citizen helping with missing person cases, he was actively murdering young women. Carolyn Boone had unrestricted access to Bundy. She was present during key investigations, with him during 2 of his jail escapes, and the mother of his child, conceived while he was on death row in Florida. Prison guards later admitted that no one could explain how they were intimate. Rumors swirled. Was Boone bribing prison officials? One guard told a local reporter off record, Ted always got what he wanted, and Carol knew how to work the system. But here's where it gets darker. Utah, 1975. The missing clothes and van wiped down. When Ted was arrested in Salt Lake City in 1975, police impounded his Volkswagen Beetle. Inside they found a ski mask, handcuffs, an ice pick, rope, a crowbar hidden under the seat. It was a kill kit, but something was missing. His signature brown leather gloves and the murder clothes he'd worn just 24 hours earlier. A witness told investigators that a woman matching Boone's description was seen wiping down the car before it was towed. That woman was never identified or questioned. Why? Because Carol had already told police Ted was innocent. She said, "There's no way he could have done this. He's too kind, too gentle." But police reports from Utah to Colorado list an unnamed woman who frequently visited Ted, picked up packages from his apartment, made late-night calls to check on impound lots. Was that Boone? The answer? We still don't know. Bundy's jail escapes. Someone had to help. Here's what no one can explain. Ted Bundy escaped not once, but twice from jail. His first escape came in 1977 in Aspen, Colorado. He jumped from a courthouse window, yes, a second-story window, and disappeared into mountains. But it's the second escape later that year that raises the real questions. From his jail cell in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, Bundy lost over 30 pounds by starving himself. He sawed through a hole in the ceiling using a hacksaw blade, smuggled in through an unknown source, and disappeared. Who gave him the saw? Who passed the maps? Who let him walk out of the jail in a stolen deputy's uniform? Several Colorado officers speculated someone on the outside had helped smuggle tools in. The packages came addressed to Ted, never opened, but because Bundy was seen as well-mannered, security was minimal. Some believe Boone helped arrange those deliveries, but the trail went cold. The other woman, in Florida. In 1978, after his second escape, Bundy made it all the way to Tallahassee, Florida, under the fake name Chris Hagen. He rented a room, partied, and watched TV, while planning his final and most savage attacks, including the Chi Omega Sorority House Massacre, where he brutally murdered 2 women and attacked 2 more in less than 15 minutes. Here's the strange part. A woman in the apartment complex he stayed and later told police she saw a dark-haired woman visit Ted repeatedly, dropping off bags of clothes and food. That woman was never identified. Some speculate it was not Boone, but another accomplice, possibly someone Bundy manipulated, just as he had done before. Police found female fingerprints on some of the supplies Bundy used. They ran them. No match. The prints were filed and forgotten. Why didn't the FBI investigate Boone further? So why didn't the FBI dig deeper into Boone? It's complicated. In the late 70s and early 80s, the term serial killer was still new. Profiling was in its infancy, and many investigators saw Boone as a naive romantic, not a criminal. Plus, Boone refused to testify during any trial. She defended Bundy until his execution. Even after seeing the evidence, she gave interviews saying, "Ted is innocent. I believe that, and I always will." After his death, she vanished, changing her name and disappearing from public life. Some believe she knew too much. Others believe she helped him directly by destroying evidence, lying to police, or helping him hide after attacks. But to this day, she has never been charged with any crime related to Ted Bundy. The jailhouse bribe rumor, a final twist. In 1981, while Bundy was still on death row in Florida, an anonymous prison staff member claimed Boone paid $500 to allow Bundy and her privacy in the visitation room. She denied the accusation, but shortly after, she gave birth to a child believed to be Bundy's. No DNA test was ever released to the public. The child's identity is still unknown. And Boone? She moved states, never gave another public interview, and never spoke of Bundy again. But what if the most disturbing part of Ted Bundy's case isn't how he killed, but how normal he seemed while doing it? What if the very traits that made him charming were also the ones that made him a monster? In Part 2, we'll go deep into the mind of a predator, featuring exclusive insights from FBI profilers who studied Bundy firsthand.